very happy to see you back. Though we are not seeing physically, virtually imagining that you people are sitting in the house and watching the classes regularly. It's great, and I would like to appreciate every one of you because the time that you spend here in front of your virtual class will never go waste, because each and every class makes a lot of difference when you are learning, because you get an individual attention from the teacher. And I know some of you were calling me for asking the doubts, and I would really appreciate that, because never carry doubts for the next class. Before you see the next part video, definitely it is important that we clarify our doubts. So I would encourage children to ask doubts if you have any, right? So I think you all are ready, children, and hope you all are safe, enjoying your lockdown days with an effective learning that is happening virtually, right? So let us begin the class. Before getting into today's class, let us just recollect what we have learned in our previous class. And if you can help me out in recollecting what we learned, it will be easy for me to continue with the classes. And I think we were learning about the block, period and group, right? How to find out the block, period and group of S block elements, because last class we saw a periodic table with 4 different blocks: S block, P block, D and F, and we were also focusing only on S block. We learned the characteristic features of S block elements. Yes, can anybody tell me what are the features of S block elements? Yes, they are all metals, especially the first group are alkali metals, second group are alkaline earth metals. Yes, they have very low ionization energy and they have metallic character. Yes, they have very less electronegativity also. Then we were also learning about how to find out the block, period and group, right? I'll just repeat those definitions, how we were learning to find out the block, period and group of S block elements. Now to find out the block of any element, it can be S block or P block or D block, the last subshell, that is the last subshell to which the last electron enters. The subshell to which the last electron enters is the block of the element, right? If it enters into a S subshell, it is an S block. If it enters into a P subshell, it is a P block. If the last electron enters into a D subshell, it is D block. Then, how we were finding out the period? Yes, you're right. The highest shell number will be the period of the element, right? We know there are 4 main shells, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if while writing the subshell configuration, if the 4th shell is present, that will be the period number. The 3rd shell is only present, it will be the period number, right? And for S block elements, to find the group, we were seeing how many electrons were present in the S subshell. If only 1 electron is present, the element belongs to the first group. If there are 2 electrons, it belongs to the second group. And as we know, S block elements have got only 2 groups, that is first group and second group. This is what we learned in the last class. Now, once S block is over, now we have 2-3 more blocks to go. That is, we are going to study about P block elements. Now, in front of you, you can see the P block elements in the periodic table. Can you see, children? Yes. Now closely watch it. You can see in P block elements, there are metals, there are non-metals. Yes, there are metalloids, and you can see the last column being the noble gas. If you can closely see the periodic table, that is the P block elements, it starts from 13th group to 18th group. That is, you have 6 columns. As I told you before, the vertical columns are called as groups and the horizontal rows are called as periods. So, we have 6 columns, which means there are 6 groups in the P block element. Now, what are those? We have group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Now you can see the table again. 13th group starts from boron, 14th starts from carbon, 15th starts from nitrogen, 16th starts from oxygen, 17th from fluorine, and 18th is from helium. Now if you see the last column, those are called as noble gases, that is inert gases, which means they are chemically non-reactive. They do not react in the chemical reaction. Why they don't react? Can anybody tell me why they don't react? Why they don't take part in the chemical reaction? It is just because the subshells are completely filled. It has an octet configuration. So since the subshells are completely filled, they become inert. They don't react at all. So the 18th group, we call it as zero group elements, or they never react in the chemical reaction. And from 13 to 17 are the most important elements which react in the chemical reaction. If you see metals, we have aluminium, gallium. Non-metals, you can see nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur. Metalloids, you can see silicon, germanium and arsenic. And the last one, as I told you, they are noble gases. Now, if you see, it's a mixture of everything present inside. When I say metals, they conduct electricity. When I say non-metals, of course they might not be because they behave as insulators. When I say metalloids, they are a combination of metals and non-metals. Or I can say some of them are semiconductors. They have lot of applications. They behave as conductor and also as an insulator. Now, the most important characteristic features. Yes. Now, if you recollect, S block elements have got low ionization energy, and P block elements, when you compare with S block, definitely have a high ionization energy. Now, before talking about ionization energy, I want you all to closely look at the table drawn in the board. If you see, these are the elements from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. That is from boron till neon. I have written only the outermost configuration, that is 2s2, 2p1, 2s2, 2p2, 2p3, 2p4, 2p5 and 2p6. If you see, I told you before, the block of the element is depending on the subshell to which the last electron enters. Here you can see the S shell is remaining constant. There is no change. It is just 2s2. But if you see closely, the electron gets added up in the P subshell, that is from 1 to 6. That is, the P subshell gets the electron filled in right from boron till neon. And since the P subshell is taking part in the filling of electrons, or the last electron is entering into the P subshell, we can clearly say these elements belong to the P block element. You are understanding, children? Yes, you are able to follow me? Yes, I'll repeat again. Since the last electron enters into the P subshell, we can say these elements belong to the P block element. That is, they are a P block element. Now, when I say ionization energy, I told you P block elements have high ionization energy compared to that of S block element. Now, how do I prove it? As we have learned, ionization energy decreases down the group. Why? Because the nucleus becomes far away from the electron. The outermost electron is far away from the nucleus, and as we know, ionization energy is the energy required to remove the electron from the outermost shell. And you know, S block elements are metals. They love to lose electrons. So when they donate electrons, they become positive oxidation state. They become octet. That is, they become completely filled configuration by losing electrons. As I told you, if I am ready to give something which I have, you don't have to put out any strain, right? Because like, imagine I have an iPhone mobile, right? And you want to use that for playing games or for listening something, anything else. If I'm ready to give something, you don't have to put energy or ask me or request me. You can just tell I need it and I'll give you. But if I'm not ready to give something, that's I'm not interested, but I need something from you, but what happens? You have to put more energy to remove something, that is to get something from me. So that is what is happening in S block and P block elements. P block elements, if you see, when you go across the period, our ionization energy increases. So what happens here? Now this all P subshell, if you see, they need 1 or 2 electrons to become octet. So what happens? Rather than losing electrons, they want to gain electrons. So if they have to gain electrons, ionization energy will be high. Because what is ionization energy? Energy required to remove the electron. But here the P block elements wanted to gain electrons. They don't want to lose it. So they are not ready to give their electron to the other element. If they are not ready to give electron, what will happen to ionization energy? Definitely a huge amount of energy is required to remove that electron. That's why P block elements have high ionization energy compared to S block elements. Now if you see across the period, right, when you see across the period, the 18th group elements, that is the noble gases, will definitely have the highest ionization energy. What could be the reason? Can anybody tell me? Yes, when I said the noble gases, that is the 18th group elements, they have their subshells completely filled. So when they have their subshells completely filled, the energy required to remove the electron will be very, very high, because already they have attained stable configuration. If an element has attained stable configuration, they cannot lose electron or they cannot gain electron. So if in that case, if I have to remove the electron from an octet configuration, that is stable configuration, definitely the energy required will be very, very high. So I would say ionization energy will be the highest for the last group elements. Or I can say ionization energy increases across the period, and it is definitely high for P block elements as compared to the S block elements. You are able to understand, children? Yes. And we also were talking about electronegativity. Now when you see the electronegativity, the P block elements have got comparatively high electronegativity than the S block elements, and the highest electronegativity, that is the most electronegative element in the periodic table, is fluorine. Normally the 17th group elements, that is halogens, we call the 17th group elements as halogens. Halogens are the most electronegative element in the periodic table, and out of which fluorine is the most electronegative, or I can say the highest electronegative element in the periodic table. You are able to understand, children? Yes. Now we are going to study about how to find out the block, period and group of P block element. Finding out the block and period are the same, but to find out the group, we have a small calculations. So we need to put little mathematics into chemistry. I know you all like mathematics. Yes or no? You're right. Yes. So we shall be doing a small table, and then we'll work out few exercises from the textbook. Okay. So the next task is what? Learning how to find out the group of a P block element. And how many groups are there in P block element? There are 6 groups, that is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and the last group, that is 18. So you all are ready with me, children? Now we are going to see how to find out the block, period and group of the P block element. And as we already have seen, that is the block of the element is the last electron, that is the subshell to which the last electron gets added, that is the block of the element, right? And to find out the period also, we know the highest shell number is the period. Now how to find out the group number? And as we know, there are 6 groups. To find out the element whether it is present in 13th group or till 18th group, that is from 13 to 18, we are going to see how to do it. So you are ready, children? If you have time, just copy the questions from this and you can do it. Okay, when you are seeing the class especially, you pause the video, copy the questions and try to do it in your notebook as well. Now, the question is boron with atomic number 5. So, how to write the subshell configuration? Anything that you need to find out, first step and the foremost thing is to write the subshell electronic configuration. So, how did we learn the subshell configuration? For boron, it is atomic number 5. So, we write 1s2, 2s2 and then 2p1. Right? 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 1, 5. So 5 electrons, boron, this is the configuration. And for nitrogen, what will be the configuration? 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Right, 7 is the atomic number. And for neon, 1s2, 2s2 and 2p6. Because it's a noble gas, right? So P subshell is completely filled with 6 electrons. Now, the next task is finding out the number of electrons in the P subshell. For S block elements, the number of electrons present in the S subshell was giving us the group of the element. But now here, it is the number of electrons present in the P subshell plus 12. So when you add 12 to the number of electrons that is present in the P subshell, we will be getting the group of the element. So how will we be doing it? We have 1 electron here, we have 3 electrons here and we have 6 electrons here. Right? So 1 plus 12 will be 13. 3 plus 12 is 15 and 6 plus 12 will be 18. So now if you check your periodic table again, you will see boron belongs to 13th group, nitrogen belongs to 15th group and neon belongs to 18th group. So this is how we will be finding out the group of the P block element. Clear children? The number of electrons that is present in the P subshell plus 12 added to it, we will be getting the group of the P block element. Now there is a question here. The outermost subshell electronic configuration of an element is 3s2 3p4. So what is given to us? See, you will get questions like this in your board exam. That is, the outermost subshell configuration will be given to you. And what you need to do is, you need to find out the group, period, block of the element. So shall we do it now? Yes. The question is, why is the element having outermost configuration 3s2 3p4? Okay, now this is a question given. Now what is the next one? To which period and group does this element belong to? So you need to find out the group and the period of the element. Also, write down the outermost subshell configuration of the element which is just below the same group. Right. So, to find out the period and group, what is the first thing I need to do? Yes, I should write the complete subshell electronic configuration. So, how will I write? Now, I am going to write 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p4. Right, I need to find out the period. And then I should find out the group of the element. Also, I should write the subshell, outermost subshell of the element which is just below this element. Okay. Now, how do we find out the period? We know the highest shell number is the period of the element. Do you remember, children? Yes. So, if you see here, this is my first shell, this is my second shell, and this is my third shell. So what will be the period of this element? Yes, it is 3. It belongs to the third period. Now how do we find out the group for P block element? The number of electrons that is present in the P subshell plus 12 added to it. So what do we get here? 16. So the given element Y belongs to my 16th group element. Now how do I write the outermost configuration for the element that is below Y? See, this is 3s2 3p4. So what should be the element that is below this? This is in the third period. The element should be in the fourth period. So it is 4s2 and 4p4. Understood, children? If they are asking about this, it will be 2s2 2p4. So this is how we do it. You are able to get me, children? Is there any doubt in this? You are able to follow? They will give you a configuration. With that, you will be finding out the period, group and outermost subshell. Shall we do one more question? Yes. Now the next question is, you can take as element X. There is an element X having a configuration of 3s2 and 3p6. 3s2, 3p6. Find out the block, period and group of the element. Now if I have to find out, first let me write the configuration. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Now how do I find out the block? I know the subshell to which the last electron enters is my block. So here the last electron is entering which subshell? P subshell. So definitely it's a P block element. How do we find out the period? Highest shell number. First shell is my second shell and this is my third shell. So I know it belongs to my third period. And last one is group. How do we find out the group? Number of electrons in the P subshell plus 12 added to it. So number of electrons is 6 plus 12, that is 18. So I can say element X belong to the 18th group. You are able to understand, children? So that is how we will be getting questions. Right. There's one more question given to us. Let us do that also. Okay. Now see, don't stop with the examples that I have given here. Right. You know the periodic table, you know the elements. So you can take some more examples. Take the outermost configuration and try exploring. A successful student is someone who explores more. Because when you explore more, we do mistakes. And when we do mistakes, we learn. So whenever we do mistakes, be happy. Because mistakes help us to learn things perfectly. So we don't do the mistakes again. Okay. Now the next question given to us is, we have two elements. That is element X and element Y. The outermost configuration is given as 3s2 here. 3s2, 3p5. They have asked us for the subshell configuration. Also find the atomic number. Find out the period, group and block. PGB. Just like your PUBG or whatever you speak. Right? So this is PGB. Period, group, block. So how am I going to do this? This is my outer shell configuration. Right? So, we are going to solve this together. How are we going to do? Our first question is, X is an element having an outer shell configuration 3s2. So, 3s2, how do I write the subshell configuration? I know this place is not enough. So, we'll take it from here. Subshell configuration will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s2. This is my subshell configuration. Right? What is the atomic number? I need to find out the atomic number. How do I find out? I'll count all the electrons in my subshell. So it is 2 plus 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So atomic number is 12. When atomic number is 12, find out the period. Period, we know highest shell number is the period. So here we have 3 here, third shell. So that is my period. How do I find the group? Finding out the group is since it is S subshell is getting at the last, so the number of electrons that is present in the S subshell is the group of the element. So here I have 2 electrons, so it belongs to my second group. And how do we find out the block? The subshell to which the last electron enters is the block of the element. So here it is entering the S subshell, so it belongs to S block. Are you able to get me, children? Now we will do one more. Why is an element having a configuration, outer shell configuration as 3s2, 3p5? Now to write the complete configuration, it is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. That's a full configuration. What is the atomic number? 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 2, 12, 12 plus 5 is 17. Atomic number is 17. How do I find the period? Highest shell number. First shell, this is my second shell, and this is my third shell. So it belongs to my third period. How do I find the group? We know the last electron is entering the p subshell. So the number of electrons plus 12. Yes, you are right. When you add 12 to it, it becomes a 17th group element. And the last one is the block. The subshell to which the last electron enters is the block of the element. And since it is entering P block, P subshell, it belongs to the P block. So children, this is how we will be getting questions in the exam. Right. Now, which element has a valency 1? What do you mean by valency? Valency is either the number of electron it loses or the number of electrons it gains. Now here, my S subshell can take only maximum 2 electrons. So it is already having 2 electrons. So it does not have any valency. But here, this P subshell needs 1 more electron. Chlorine needs 1 more electron to become octet. So that is having a valency 1. Which element shows metallic character? Now it's easy because we know S block elements are metals. So here this is my S block element. So definitely X should be having a metallic character. Which element has highest ionization energy? As we discussed before, P block element have higher ionization energy than the S block element. So definitely element Y should be having higher ionization energy than X. Okay. And the last one is write the chemical formula of the compound formed by the combination of X and Y. It's a beautiful question, children, and you get questions like this definitely in your board with different combinations, different oxidation state. What is an oxidation state? Oxidation state of an element is the number of electron it loses or it gains. If it loses the electrons, it will have positive oxidation state, and if it gains, accepts electron, it will have negative oxidation state. So I have X and Y here. Now imagine X has, we know S block elements lose electrons. So here S subshell is having 2 electrons, so it will lose those 2 electrons. So I will write here plus 2 as the oxidation state. X will lose 2 electrons to become plus. Now Y needs 1 electron, right? It gains 1 electron, so that will be minus 1. And how do we do the formula? We just crisscross, that is cross multiply these two. So you get here X, Y, this minus 1 comes here, plus 2 goes here, so X, Y, 2. Do not write the original formula of the element, chemical formula of the element or the compound. Use only the variables that is given in the question. Right? Because we know this is magnesium, this is chlorine. But still we will be writing only X, Y, 2. So with this, I'll stop, children, because I'll be giving you some questions as homework. Definitely do it, and if you have still doubts, please ask your doubts personally. Each one of your doubt will be clarified. to my maximum, I'll be able to clarify your doubts. Okay, and try to watch the video completely, because I've been hearing from some children that you are just scrolling the videos. Never do that, children, because it is your need. That is, we need lessons, right? We need this classes. It's most important. So listen to the classes completely, ask your doubts, try to do the homework, and if you have any doubt, please ask. Okay, thank you, children. Have a wonderful day. Eagerly waiting to see you back in the next class. Bye.